Inibehe Effiong, a respected human rights lawyer, has openly criticized Mazi Nnamdi Kanu's latest legal move, describing it as a high-stakes gamble. Kanu's decision to abandon his earlier strategy of calling witnesses in his terrorism-related trial has stirred fresh debate. Effiong warned that withdrawing such a vital legal approach could weaken Kanu's chances of a fair defense. According to him, witnesses are key to countering the allegations and providing evidence to support Kanu's narrative. He emphasized that without first-hand testimonies, the court may rely solely on the prosecution's submissions. Effiong described the move as risky and unnecessary. This is what this very young man just said about Kanu. Of course, we all know that Kanu sacked his legal team, collected all the case files from them, and now representing himself. Of course, you know that is one thing about being wise, intelligent, and being a professional in the legal field or the legal institution. Kanu may be intelligent, smart, but there are some mistakes that may be a serious one that may hinder his progress on this very case. This is what this man, very young man, have actually come out to express and direct if Kanu should listen to him and hasten up and do the needful. It is a very vital information being given to Kanu by this very young man, a powerful and intelligent lawyer. Being smart and intelligent need professionalism in any field of life. You may know some things, but you still need some advice, key advice, important role in whatever you are doing. So let's just go into the details and see what this very young man said. Human rights lawyer Inibehe Effiong says the self-acclaimed leader of the separatist group, the indigenous people of Biafra, Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, is taking risks for abandoning his earlier plan to call witnesses in his ongoing terrorism trial before the federal court in Abuja. Daily Post reported that the IPOP leader on Monday shelves his earlier plan to call witnesses in his defense. The court had on October 24th adjourned the case till October 27th for the separatist to open his defense. Kanu subsequently wrote to the court indicating his intention to call witnesses and apply for witness summons, begging the court for time to study his case file. However, when the case was called on Monday, Kanu said he has gone through the case file and has realized that there is no valid charges against him. Reacting, Effiong on a post on his X handle said Kanu's legal strategy is confusing at this very point, describing his latest move as a very risky gamble. That it is a very, very risky gamble. Effiong wrote, the court had previously overruled his no case submission. It is no longer open to him to contend that he has no case to answer. There are two options that can explore. Either he opens his defense or he rests his case on the case of prosecution. He has indicated that he no longer intends to open his defense. The fact that Kanu has elected to pursue his case in this manner is not going to be construed as an admission of guilt. However, the evidence adduced by the prosecution team would be deemed as unchallenged, save for the evidence elicited under cross-examination. The court will still have to determine whether, on the basis of the admitted evidence, the prosecution has discharged the burden of proof placed on it in law. I don't know who is advising Kanu, he said, or what his motivation is, but he is taking a very risky decision. Decision. My understanding of the media reports of today's proceedings is that Kanu believes that the prosecution has not proved the charges against him beyond reasonable doubt. If my assessment is wrong, then palpable confusion has ensued. However, the law is firmly settled that a defendant has no obligation to prove or establish his or her innocence. Since this defendant, Kanu, had pleaded not guilty to the charges, the court will now have to examine the evidence adduced by the what prosecution to see whether the elements of the offenses charged have been proven beyond reasonable doubt. The fact that Kanu has elected to pursue his case in this manner is not going to be what construed as an admission. This is what this very young man said about Kanu. It is very, very confusing right now because he said Kanu should have a confident and reliable advice from a noble legal team to continue his defense, that he cannot continue this case like this, that it may confuse him and put him in more problem than expected. This is what this very young man said, and he's very serious about it. He further noted that federal government's case against Khan is heavily political and sensitive. Heavily political and very, very sensitive, he said. Hence, it demands a strong legal pushback. Abandoning witnesses, in his view, could create a vacuum in Kanu's defense. Many supporters are confused, having expected a robust challenge from Kanu's legal team. Effiong believes that decisions in such a high-profile case must not be based on emotions or pressure. He cautioned that legal shortcuts rarely favor the defendant in Nigerian courts. Supporters of Kanu have noticed mixed reactions, while some still trust his legal counsel. Others share Effiong's concern. The trial continued under tense national attention. Many believe the outcome could set a precedent for future political cases. Legal analysts argue that witness testimony is crucial in establishing credibility. Effiong urged Kanu's lawyers to rethink the strategy before it is too late. He stated that even if Kanu is confident in his innocence, the court needs facts, not assumptions. Witnesses could prove evidence about his arrest, rendition, and conditions in detention. The absence of these could be damaging. Effiong has also hinted that the government might use this weakness to its advantage. He insisted that every legal options must be explored as the trial continues. Pressure mounts from both supporters and critics. Observers are also closely watching what Kanu's next move will be. Effiong concluded by urging for caution and strategic thinking, not emotional reactions. This is what this very young man said. So it is now left for Kanu to know that being smart and intelligent is not enough for this highly legal political case, because this is political and he knows. This is what Effiong is just trying to portray here, that this Kanu's case is political. He should not relent or think that emotions or pressure or being a minority in a region or something may not earn him what that win he really wants. That he really need good advice to push this case up, not emotions. Of course, everyone knows that Inibehe Effiong is a very sound lawyer, human rights lawyer, very, very sound and vocal, so much intelligence in this legal profession. If Kanu could seek opinions and legal support, it will add value to this very case, because the way this case is actually going down is highly political and requires technical solution, intelligent solution. So, but we are following the case. Let's just see how it goes, because at this very moment, this case is really, really tense. The tension is very, very high. But we are watching closely to see how it is being resolved. On his next sitting, let us see if Khan have taken the advice on this very Inibehi or Effiong's words to continue his defense, or he is doing it on his own. Of course, everyone wants freedom for Kanu, but it shouldn't be on emotion. It should be on litigation in the court. Thank you so much. Do have a lovely day ahead. Of course, we have been following this Mazi Nnamdi Kanu's case for a long time. But this case, at this very moment, need expertise and intelligence. Expertise and intelligence. Please kindly subscribe for more updates on this, because we have a lot of updates. We are following this very case and bringing to you all the updates on this very case. Every update on this very case must be come to you. This is what we are saying. And thank God for this man's advice. He made it open so that Kanu will now see, his supporters, his family will now see what is necessary to be done. That is why it is very, very important, as he exposed everything on this very case. Thank you so much. Have a lovely day ahead. Stay safe and be safe.